So today we are talking about themes 3 and 4. Okay, yesterday we talked about themes 1 and 2. Theme 1. What is theme 1? Maggie? Location. And what is theme 2? Place. Yes, so we talked about location, place, and now we're moving on to 3, which is human environment interaction. And this is how people interact with their environment. Okay, so again, it's kind of a longer theme to remember. All right, but human environment interaction. And this is the different ways people interact with their environment. So let's look at some of those ways that people interact. So people adapt to their environment. People modify their environment. And people also depend on their environment. So looking at this picture, thinking about our own community, what do people depend on this environment for? Fields, food, right? They depend on this environment to grow crops, right? Which is, right, for farmers, that's their way of life, that's their means of living, okay? Whether it's for food for livestock or people, that's one way, all right, an example that we depend on our environment locally, okay? People adapt to their environment. What are ways that you think people adapt? Yeah, Nevaeh? Yeah. Maggie? Yes. Weather might play a big role in how people adapt to their environment, Nevaeh? Mm-hmm. Right. Going back to our farming example, in areas that are very hilly, how do you think people farm? When the steep hills, from science, I think this would be in science, what term do we use for that kind of farming? They like cut out the hills. Terraced farming? Have you guys heard of that before? Right? So they had to adapt to their environment because they still needed to grow food. They still needed to grow crops, but they adapted by how they farmed that, right? So those are 3 examples: adapt, modify, depend, okay? That shows how people interact with their environment, okay? Theme number 4, we have movement, okay? Movement is the mobility of people, goods, ideas. And this is how places are linked to one another and the world. All right, so let's think back to when we had others come to America. How did you move? How did people move? How did goods and ideas move across the country? So to get to America, ships, that was part of that. How did ideas and like conversations and contacting people, how did they have to do that? Yeah, right? The mail, writing letters, okay? Before phones, they had like a telegraph, right? So today though, do we still write letters when we need to tell someone something? What do? Use your phone, right? Give them a phone call, send them a text, right? That's another way that we've been able to move ideas around the world, okay? That transfer of ideas, okay? So again, technology has played a big role in that. With goods, right? Maggie said that ships, that would be a means of moving goods. As you can see, the plane, right? Airplanes, that's for goods and for people. All right. Trains, railroads, okay? Again, that fits into that movement of goods, movement of people, okay? So that's what we mean when we're talking about movement, the mobility of people, goods, and ideas, okay? And how these places are linked to one another around the world, okay? Do we have any questions so far? We're good to keep going?